A very happy Monday, July 18th, 2022, 4:28 in the p.m. Slow week during the All-Star break. We're going to dive into Maxwell's Monday Mailbag. We're going to talk about how bad Skittles are for you. I've got some video on the Texas Arena Football Mele and the AAU coach and player that attacked the referee. We're going to get into the Home Run Derby that's this evening, the 2022 MLB Draft. Chris Sale and the U.S. government is suing the Chicago Cubs due to wheelchair access. Good afternoon and welcome to the show, Bleacher Bumz Sports. I'm Scott Maxwell. He's Chris Kennedy, CK. How are you today, sir?
Good. Good weekend bets. Can't get better. Good stuff up here.
Okay, man. Well, I'll take a back seat if you want to dive into the weekend results.
All right, here we go. Well, always on Monday, I'll try to break down quickly for you the weekend. Friday, money line win. They just keep that their hot bats going, man. I'll tell you, Baltimore and Seattle are two crazy teams just making a push. Took the win 5-4 there, and then Detroit and Cleveland under 8 took the loss there. The bats showed up, got 11 runs. But then on our best bets, we went 3-1. Jack Sawinski, Pittsburgh under 0.5 hits plus money. He did not play, but we continue to jump on this guy because he's batting under, he's in low 100s right now. He's not hitting. They're putting up plus money for him to get a hit, and I think he's on a 10 for 11 run of no hits for a game. So we're all over that. But he did not play. Brett Phillips, Tampa Bay under half a hit, took the win there. Did not get a hit. And then Emmanuel Rivera from Kansas City, also under half a hit, took the win. Kansas City plus 1.5 over Toronto. Kansas City's been playing some decent ball. But they took the loss there 8-1. But we come flying back with our Mariners that we've been talking about all last week. They are just killing it, man. They won 8-3. Nice minus 121, decent price. And then that was Friday. For Saturday, we had a really good day. Free picks, 3-0. Best bets, 5-2. For the freebies, Dodgers, minus 1.5. We took the run line. Easy win over the Angels, plus money, 7-1. Yankees in Boston, over 8.5. You could have even taken it at 9.5. The pitchers that were dueling were just not very good, and we knew the Yankees bats would take over, and they did. 15 total runs there. Houston run line over Oakland, plus money again, 5-0. So we smoked the free picks. Best bets, we really did well also, 5-2. Hey, if it's not broke, don't try to fix it. Seattle money line over Texas, 3-2 win. Houston money line over Oakland, we just talked about, 5-0. We gave you a best bet for a freebie. The Chi Sox in Minnesota, over 8.5, just crept over, got 9 runs there. Baltimore money line over Tampa, plus money win there. We're jumping on that Oriole Mariner bandwagons, loving it. Win 6-4. Ben Gamel from Pittsburgh under 1.5 hits. The dude got 2, so took the loss there. Brian Hayes from Pittsburgh under half a hit. He got a hit, so we took the loss there. But we come back with Louis Rengifo of the Angels. My apologies there. Over half a hit. He ended up with 2 solid hits. So I had a great Saturday there for you. And then our results for yesterday. Overall, 4-3-1. Free picks went 1-2. Arizona money line over San Diego, plus money there. Took took the win 3-1, but then we had Colorado money line over my Pirates plus 105, lost 8-3, and the Mets over the Cubs lost their Cubbies took the win 3-2. And for our best bets, though, we come flying back with 3-1-1. Texas and Seattle, right at game time. It was bouncing between 8.5, 8.5, right at game time. About 10 minutes before it stuck at 8. We ended up with a push. So somebody knew something. Seattle money line over Texas was plus money, which is ridiculous. Seattle's just owned Texas. Another win, 6-2. Houston money line over Oakland. Took the loss there. Very rare loss for the Astros and the A's. 4-3. Stephen Voigt hit a tie-breaking single in the 8th inning, and the Oakland A's wrapped up a shaky first half by beating Houston 4-3. Jock Peterson, San Fran over half a hit. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Juan Soto, who is in the home run derby tonight, needed him just to get a hit, and he got it. Got us the one hit. So we had a great weekend. Really, really good weekend. And something we needed. Something we needed. Now later we got your free picks. Go to our website for our best bets. Lock them in, man. We're winning money. That's what we do.
All right, good job, man. Good job. So as we usually start off every Monday, we're going to jump into Maxwell's Monday mailbag. I did have an item of note, though. Must have been a disappointing weekend for you. I saw your Rookie of the Year candidate was demoted to the minor leagues yesterday.
Did.
Yeah,
my
batting a stellar 179, I think it is.
Yeah, I can't back him. Now his defense is good, but that's not going to cut it in the major leagues. He can't hit the hook. They were talking this morning about it, and it's it's not a surprise. The only surprise would be is that he didn't go sooner. It's just
I told you at the start of the season he wasn't ready yet.
Yeah,
I just had it written all over him. He only spent 1 year in the minors, and he went from single A to high A to double A to triple A, and then boom to the majors. And if you're gonna go, you need to produce, man. If you're gonna go up the ladder that quickly, and he just wasn't ready, man. I wish they hadn't brought him up so quick.
I know.
Hope he's just not ruined now.
Yeah, because that does happen to players. Bring them up too soon. One quick thing about Rodriguez, the big money deal pitcher we had, they still haven't heard from this guy.
I told you there's got to be a legal outlet, like he abandoned the contract in the team. I mean, basically it's the same thing. If you or I, or anybody, if anybody doesn't show up to Walmart or to Wendy's or to wherever for their job, they're going to get let go. You abandon the job. Just because you have a contract doesn't mean, there's got to be something in there that stipulates that, hey, you go off the edge of the world and we don't hear from you, your contract's null and void.
Yeah, I think they're almost past all that. Like no one's family hasn't even heard from him. Like this dude's just like gone. They think there's some sources saying the dude's dead. Like this is like he's not even communicating with his own family. So something's up. It's kind of creepy. The more they talk, they try not to talk about it much, but it gets brought up by a lot of callers, and they don't really talk about it. So it is. Well,
that's because they're the flagship, and they don't want to lose. If you say something against a team, then you're losing your people that'll interview on your radio show. That's how that works. I've seen that first and up front. That's just basically what it comes down to. It's just more bias. More bias. All right, man, Monday mailbag. Let's dive into it. Our girl, Leah Thomas, was named a Woman of the Year candidate. Derek Jeter rips A-Rod. Juan Soto, who Chris mentioned is in the Dinger contest tonight, rejected the Nats' latest offer of $440 million. And the Mariners ride a 14-game win streak into the All-Star break. I wish it wasn't the All-Star break right now. I'd like to see them. I have a feeling they're going to lose a little bit of momentum coming out of the break again. And I hate to see that happen. But, they're in good shape for the playoffs, and we'll talk about it here in a second. But Leah Thomas is in the news again, man. UPenn named her one of the women of the year candidates. Now, there's only 577 nominees out of 223, basically a 250,000 female student athletes. Now, I don't know if you saw the girl. You know the girl that's always in the picture next to her, next to Leah Thomas?
When they swim?
Yeah, the one when she's holding the medal.
Yes, yeah.
That same blonde.
Mm-hmm.
So she came out and tweeted to Clay Travis over the weekend and said, "This is who I am. I'm the actual woman in that photo." And UPenn is a disgrace. I mean, this is just another slap in the face to all of us. How could you do such a thing? Why would anybody want to represent this school as a female? I mean, it's just absolutely getting out of control with this person, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where does it end? Where does it end? Where's it going to end? When's this stuff going to stop?
Well, I think what it is the UPenn now they are backed into a corner. Like now that they've made such a big deal, and they were thinking that we may not get we'll get a little backlash, maybe not too bad. Well, now the swimmers, they're speaking up and they are making it clear that the University of Pennsylvania is bad news, man. And
lost your volume there, man. And you're frozen, it looks like. CK, you there? I think we lost him, guys. CK. CK. Think you need to reboot, buddy. But now he's gone. Okay, guys, so we'll continue along with the mailbag. All right, next story. This looks awesome. I don't know if you guys have seen the trailer and the preview for it coming to ESPN in a 7-part documentary. Is the Captain. This is going to be awesome. Now, it's going to debut at the end of the month. The series will go behind the scenes into Derek Jeter's life and time as the starting shortstop with the New York Yankees. Doing the interview rounds for the upcoming much-awaited docu-series, Jeter had some unflattering things to say about his former teammate and friend, use that word loosely, Alex Rodriguez. Quote, "In my mind, he got his contract, so you're trying to diminish what I'm doing, maybe to justify why you got paid. When you talk about statistics, mine never compared to Alex's. I'm not blind, I understand that. But we won. You can say whatever you want about me as a player, that's fine," Jeter said. He goes on, "But then it goes back to the trust, the loyalty. This is how the guy feels. He's not a true friend, is how I felt, because I wouldn't do that to a friend." As Baseball America writer Alan Schwartz says in the upcoming film, Derek Jeter wanted to be a Yankee. Alex Rodriguez wanted to be a star. The series is highly anticipated and comes at a great time. I think it would have been a better time to bring this story right about now, to be honest with you, during the 3-day break, and just had this lead up to the All-Star game, the home run contest, and the day after the All-Star game is a travel day, so there's absolutely nothing going on those days. That would have been a better area and time for it, in my opinion. And then you could have just had everybody talking about the Yankees, Derek Jeter, Major League Baseball in general. All right, let's see if we can bring him back in here. You there?
Yep.
Okay, we got you back. So I was reading just finishing up the Derek Jeter piece.
Mm-hmm.
This, have you seen the trailer and the preview for this 7-part docuseries that's coming to ESPN later this month?
I haven't seen the trailer. I've read on it though. God, I'm just not a Jeter fan, but
gosh, why?
I don't know. Same reason with the GOAT in football. But I think after I watch this, I think I'll be sucked in again. And I have no reason not to like him. I think it's just because he's so damn good.
he wasn't one of the best shortstops, though. He really wasn't great.
No.
Hall of Famer, yeah, but there's guys that had better numbers than him by far,
yeah.
and he acknowledges that, in this in the portion that I took from some of the previews that I've been reading. He's like, hey, my stats never stood up to Alex's, and compared to that, he's like, I'm not blind, I understand that. He's like, but we won, they weren't winning. He's like, so you can say whatever you want me about as a player, that's fine.
Yeah.
So he's content with whatever offensive statistics or lack thereof that he had. I will say this, though. He came up clutch all the time.
Yes,
all
did.
the time came up clutch.
Well, when I think of him in the field, I think of that. Stop it. Go. I think it was against the A's, where the throw came in from the outfield, and he just won. He did that. He didn't even throw overhand. He threw it like kind of just tossed it to the catcher to get the out. I always see that play, and it was like they call it one of the greatest plays of all time.
The flick to the catcher.
Yeah, the flick. Right.
Against the Oakland A's.
Yeah.
When Jason Giambi should have slid.
Right. Exactly it.
That one. If he slides, he takes out Posada and he scores and he wins that game.
It's the same as Bill Freehan and Lou Brock. Those two plays you can argue till the cows come home. But those two plays, if they slide it, the history in sports are different. I really believe it.
Oh yeah. No, if Jason Giambi slides,
it's over.
The A's win.
Yep.
The Yankees are out.
Yep.
And who knows what would have happened with those Oakland A's teams? And Giambi may not have ended up in a pinstripe uniform.
Absolutely.
The following season, a World Series would have provided a whole new stream of revenue that the Oakland A's have never seen.
Absolutely.
And that might have been able to get them to sign him on to a nice fat long-term deal to keep him in Oakland for his entire career. But that's not how it played out, unfortunately.
Right.
All right, man, Juan Soto. What's up with this guy? First, he turns down 13 years, $350 million. Now he's turned down 15 years, so they gave him an extra 2 years and an extra $90 million, which would have been the largest contract in baseball history. And he turned it down. So do you think this guy just doesn't want to be in Washington that much? Or, what is it, man? Do you think he thinks that he's worth more money? What are we thinking here?
Greed. It's the only thing I can think of, Scott. It's greed. It would be the largest contract ever. If somebody told me we're going to give you the largest contract ever, I don't wish anybody ill will. I don't wish people to get hurt. But when shit like this goes down, I want something to happen where he doesn't get that offer again. I don't give a shit what it is. Find out you have leprosy. I don't give a shit. This is the problem I have in sports, and it pisses me off. It's these contracts, man. They're so outrageous. Do I blame them for not taking certain contracts? Sometimes no, depending on how they're written and what the little fine print is. But no, this is bullshit greed, in my opinion. $440 million, seriously? Whatever.
That's a lot of cash to be turning down, man, just to want to, they say San Diego's the clubhouse leader right now to trade for him. Wow. Maybe he's content, like Mike Trout and Ohtani, just living on the West Coast in a nice area, making, $500 million, $550 million, whatever it's going to be. And, not having a ton of pressure put on him. Yeah. Because teams like that, they don't get the eyeballs because they're on the left coast. And you just don't have the marketing, that seems like the Dodgers are the only team that has the marketing on the West Coast to attract any sort of attention. And, if it's about the money, he's really making it so there's only like one or two teams that could trade for him. If it's about the money, he's going to have to end up being a Red Sox or a Yankee.
Yeah, one of the two. It's I just lost my train of thought. I'll get it back in a second here. It just grows to be so frustrating. It's I don't know, man. I get tired of these contracts being so large. Now, oh, I know what I was going to say. It and this Scott, that's just to lace up and go play, man. Soto being Soto is going to get all sorts of money coming in from either Nike or whatever. I mean, I remember when they were talking about Jordan and his contracts. I mean, he was making more along with Tiger Woods just on Nike and all these sponsors throwing money, just countless amounts of money to him. So
that was a different deal, though. I think Jordan's the one thing you can't compare, and I say that because one, he created his own brand, Air Jordan brand. Two, yeah, while he was getting all this money from Gatorade, Nike, all these other things, you got to remember he kept signing 1-year deals and taking less so they could bring guys in like Rodman and things like that. He did the Tom Brady thing. He was willing to take less because he knew he'd make it back on the open market, via sponsorships and all that sort of thing. I mean, he did Space Jam and all that sort of thing that provided him a lot of extra millions of extra wealth. So I don't think you can really compare Jordan in the same.
Well,
now, if you want to compare A-Rod, somebody who signed two $250 million deals, I'm on board with that. I think Jordan's the one guy you can't compare, though, because he always took less.
He did, but I mean, I guess my point is that he's going to make money elsewhere. $440 million is just here, signed, boom, into the bank it goes. Every year you get but he's going to have sponsors, and those sponsors are going to load his bank account up too. I mean, when is enough enough? 440? Shit, you wouldn't have to ask me twice. But I don't know.
No.
To each his own.
So last time we spoke, the Mariners had hit a 10-game win streak, and that kind of caught us both off guard. We were like, we were like, all of a sudden, who was the other team that had the win streak?
Baltimore.
Baltimore, the Orioles. That's who it was. They caught fire, and being on the East Coast, we were paying attention to that. But the Mariners were flying under the radar. And since that 10-game win streak, I've watched them and paid attention to them closely. And this team is a fun team to watch, man. Bunch of young guys just going out there. They just said they put down the pressure. They said, fuck it, just go out and have fun. That's exactly what they're doing. Now they've got the second longest winning streak in franchise history, now at 14 games. They took down Texas yesterday 6-2 to extend the MLB best win streak to 14 games headed into the All-Star break. To finish the first half of the season 50-42, good enough for a second seed in the wild card that the playoffs started today. Now they've got the longest playoff drought in North American team sports. I did not know that. In 2001 as part of the 116 win season with Randy Johnson, the big unit, and Griffey, Edgar Martinez, and Harold Reynolds, and all those guys. They knocked off and ripped off 15 in a row with a stacked lineup back then. These guys are doing this with a bunch of no-namers, man, and it's really fun to watch. It reminds me of the Moneyball A's quite a bit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that, every time that movie's on, I'm glued to it. Even though I keep thinking maybe when I watch it this time they'll win. They'll win it all. But it's exactly the same. And I think, what did they hit? 21 games in a row, something like that. Some crazy number.
No, it was 20. They
20. Okay.
Maybe it was 21. I think 20 tied it, and they had 21 with
that home run.
Scott Hatterberg had the home run that hit 21, and then the next day they lost.
Yeah. Oh, my God. It's the same thing. And it's, there's some decent names on there, but they're not your Sotos. They're not your Judges. They're just, like you said, they're just kids that just are having fun. They're playing loose, and they're not just squeaking by. They're winning by some runs, man. So.
Oh yeah, no, a 6-2 win's a definitive win.
Yeah. So if you're betting on them, take their run line. You're getting plus money. So they're fun. They're fun, and it's too bad they're a West Coast. I get to see more of them.
That's the first thing I've been looking at each morning. Now, I watched a portion of their game yesterday against Texas on Amazon. I was able to find it on Amazon. But, yeah, they're a fun team to watch, man. I hope they don't lose the momentum. I would hate to see that happen, rip 14 off. And then, they won, I think it's 4 series straight.
Yep.
That's impressive in its own right, just winning 4 series in a row, let alone ripping off 14 in a row. So we'll see what happens to them coming out of the gate. We'll talk a little bit more about them when we dive into some Major League Baseball talk here in a little bit. But let's get on with the rest of the news of the day. This one caught my attention, man. Do you like Skittles?
I'm a sweet tart. I like sweet tarts, but I do like Skittles. If they're in a bowl, I'm eating them. But yeah, they are good. Sweet
tarts, huh? No, yeah. I like sweet tarts, but I like the Smarties are my favorite.
Yes, there is a difference.
And you only see the Smarties at Halloween.
That's true.
I don't know why. It's the only time of year that you see them.
Yeah, I'm a Dots guy. I like chewy candy.
Yeah, I can't do that with my teeth, man. I'll pull my caps off. But I used to like Skittles when I was younger. Now this story is out of the LA Times. Skittles unfit for human consumption, California lawsuit claims. Now, I've been saying forever, since I got involved in health, fitness, and nutrition and all that 20, 30 years ago, that a lot of the food, stuff that we're consuming as human beings is poisoning us. Sugar is toxic, specifically, in my opinion. But then when you start getting into the dyes and the colors and all this type of stuff, it gets really, really ugly. Now, this says that although most people can identify Skittles flavors like lemon, strawberry, and orange, few can probably name titanium dioxide, a coloring additive that helps give the candies their bright hue. That's kind of what makes them kind of shiny, I guess. Right. Nothing like a little bit of lacquer on there to make the candy look good for you. Now, the thing about Skittles are, they're a lot like any other handful type of candy. You can't just have one. You're not going to be like, I'm going to put my hand in the jar and just grab 2 or 3 Skittles and be done with it. There's something about when you're done with the mouthful, your mouth is watering. You got another handful. You got to have some more, and you got to have some more. Right. And they're absolutely delicious. Now, they're made by the Mars Candy Company, and which makes a lot of great candy. But apparently, this active ingredient is sold all throughout the United States, and it's been removed from the candy's recipe in several European nations already and banned in several other countries, according to the lawsuit. Apparently, back 6 years ago in 2016, Mars Inc. promised to phase out the titanium dioxide and said that artificial colors like TO2, quote, pose no known risk to human health or safety. Around that same time, the European Food and Safety Authority said there was uncertainty about the characterization of the ingredient. Now, back in May 2021, the EFSA, the European Food Safety Authority, concluded there was enough research to indicate that titanium dioxide was no longer safe when used as a food additive. This stuff is toxic, man. You don't like Skittles, but your kids eat Skittles. They're around that age, that's something teenagers seem to, drift towards on the candy bracket.
Right. When you look at the back of the package, which I'm looking at right now, and it says made of, you're hoping to get stuff that you can even understand. But as it goes through, it's got the usual. But then as it gets into it, you start looking at red 40, yellow 5 lake, yellow 5, yellow 6 lake, yellow 6, blue 2 lake, blue 1 lake. That should scare you enough. Nobody knows what that shit is. You're going to have to Google it to look it up. But to know that that's what it's made of, stuff you've just never heard of, has got to be scary enough. you already know it's not good for you. But,
well, here's a list of candies that they make that they don't use the ingredient in. You've got something called Swedish Fish Soft and Chewy Candy.
Badass. Those are
never heard of it. Never, I wouldn't even know where to find it.
They're the Chewies. They're Chewies. They're just like
a Starburst.
Oh no, these are gummy. I'm sorry, they're gummy. They're like it's like a gummy. Well, it's softer than a gummy bear, and they almost melt in your mouth. But those
okay, so these are all in that same kind of category. You've got Black Forest gummy bears and Sour Patch Kids. That's another thing. I'm like, I don't like Sour Patch Kids. I really don't. But if I eat a handful, like when my ex, her daughter had them all the time. She loved them.
Oh yeah.
I'd be like, hey, give me 2 or 3 of those, and then it's like, hey, give me the bag from.
Right.
And it's like, you know, it's got that addicting thing to it. You know, they're sour, your mouth's watering.
I know.
Oh, that wasn't too bad after all.
Do another one.
But even M&Ms that are also made by Mars do not use titanium dioxide. The lawsuit says.
Titanium. That sounds like something that should be in your car, not in your mouth.
They put mercury in the vaccine, COVID vaccine. I watched those hearings on C-SPAN. Everyone else is watching Black Lives Matter riots.
Right.
I was like sitting at my kitchen table smoking a joint watching what they're putting in the fucking vaccine. Everybody else is like concerned about, you know, New York City being burned up the ground, you know.
Right.
And I was like, nah, that's going to happen. Whether it's out of my control, I need to watch this and see what they're putting in this shit.
Yeah.
And now they need 75 years to not tell us what's in it. So that's why I haven't been vaccinated myself yet. Although just got after my third COVID go round. And I'll tell you what, this latest version's no joke, man. It was as bad as the original version that I faced. I had the original China virus version, and that one knocked me on my ass for a solid 10 days. It's been 10 days now, only a week since I've been to the doctor and got my meds. I've still got another 4 days of medication to go. But it is no, and the medications and all that stuff have come a long ways, man. So if you do get COVID, don't sweat it. They got lots of great medicine out there. You know, my copay was only $10, you know, for a 14-day supply, you know. So don't sweat that if anybody out there gets COVID. But hey, man, you wanted to what did you you had a nickname for it? Like Monday Mele.
Oh, Monday Meltdown.
Monday Meltdown. Well, we've got 2 of them today.
Oh, nice.
We've got 2 of them. The first one happened in the Texas Arena football game over the weekend.
Wow.
And there's a couple different camera angles on this one that we're going to take a look at here. This one's courtesy of Outkick, as is the next one. Outkick has, for some reason, Outkick's all in on the fights that are happening at stadiums around the country. I don't know where they find these stories at, but this one here, a Texas Arena football game turns barbaric as players fight fans and a metal chair is used as a weapon. So chaos erupted late Saturday night in the 4th quarter of a game between the West Texas Warbirds and the Dallas Prime, when players fought each other and eventually fans in the stands at Ector County Coliseum in Odessa, Texas. So let's take a look at the first video. Here's 1, 2, and then there's an up-close version towards the end. There's the guy using the chair. I don't know who he thinks he's going to hit. He looks pretty out of range of hitting anyone, if you ask me. But let's take a look at some of these videos and see who had the biggest Monday meltdown. So here's the first one. Well, that's all we got on that one. That was a quick 5-second video. All right. Let's see if this one here's a little longer. 2 minutes. This one's 2 minutes. I hate when football players fight with their helmets on.
Yeah. I like the horn.
Well, yeah.
It's like timeout. Now they're in the stands fighting.
Well, it looks like the drape to the locker room is back near. There's the guy with the chair swinging the chair.
Wow.
Oh, look! Did he hit that guy in the head? There's the horn.
I like the horn guy.
Oh my God! The
player's in the
now. The guy at the chair.
Oh my God! The player's in the stands. Oh my God! Now
that's the same kid that was on the ground.
Oh my God! Here come the players.
Here come more. Here they come. Horn still blowing. There's a good 4 or 5 players up there getting after this guy. These must be coaches, I would think. Officials of some sort. This guy over here don't care. He's like, I ain't getting involved in this shit. I'm a fucking $8 an hour security guard. You don't pay me enough to get involved in this shit. He's still blowing that horn now. Look at her now. She's trying to talk her man into like, you got to get in there and do something. There he goes. Hat came off. He's doing something.
What is that? World Star.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, for your safety, please back away.
For your safety, please back away.
Right.
Yeah, a little late on that one. All right, let's look at the up close one and see if we can make any hay. So this is the opposite side of the field. So now it looks like we're getting the view from where the guy with the chair was.
And this had to do with just players, right? Or
So it looks like you had some guys in street clothes starting a fight with players on the opposite team. Oh!
Wow. You know, I guess there's advantages of having a helmet on and a helmet off. I'd be kind of split down the middle of, because if they grab that face mask, you're kind of screwed, man, because they will drag you till kingdom come.
Dude, you're looking at a serious neck injury. I mean, You're looking at a number. I'd rather take a fist to the face than have somebody grab the face mask and turn you all around inside out any day of the week. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, that's just me. But man, I can't believe this stuff is happening at professional sporting events, and it's just not happening. The way it's increasing is just getting out of control, man.
Yeah.
Well, we had another one over the weekend. AAU basketball coach and player attack referee.
Oh boy.
I believe this one happened in Kansas City. Yep, at a Kansas City tournament as all hell breaks loose. Fists were flying in KC Saturday at an AAU basketball tournament. This is high school kids. Some junior high kids. Where a ref was attacked by a coach, a player, and fans who rushed the court to join in the melee. According to eyewitnesses, the disgusting behavior went down at the Hardwood Classic 10 Recruit Look Summer Finale at the Staley High School Gymnasium. As if the coach and ref trading punches before fans started punching the ref wasn't a bad enough look, high-quality video shows a player from the team Game Speed kicking the ref as he's being ganged up on. In a Facebook thread, Caleb McConnell says he was the ref in the middle of this nonsense. Look at this guy. Sleazy World taking a punch at the referee. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Oh, yep, that does.
Yep, that's like the guy. You ever seen the guy who had like the I don't know what it said, but like it says like "arrest me" or something on his T-shirt or something, and it's his mugshot, you know, in jail. Like, like, fucking idiots. Like, I mean, that's what this reminds me of. Now, this guy says, "quote: I had just called a tech right before the camera came to me. That's why he was pushing up on me like that. Fuck another tech at that point. He had to catch one." McConnell, who says he's a 9-year referee veteran. That coach was just looking for a reason to start something. He couldn't take the ass whooping like a man, the ref added.
Wow.
Let's go to the footage so you can see exactly how all this went down. So there's one. So there's just the one video.
Is that the coach right there?
I don't know if that's a fan or if that's a coach. I think that could be a coach, though.
Jesus, he looks...
So I don't know. I mean, I think this here might be a coach, too.
Now,
just because a whole lot hadn't started yet.
Right. Now, that picture there, if I were to take a bet, I think the ref might get that first blow in, because you see how he's cocked? It almost looks like he's coming forward, maybe. The other guy's going to throw a haymaker, but if he connects, could knock the ref right out.
Well, it does look like the ref's falling also, so I don't know. And he's got him by the shirt. It looks like he's falling over. So I don't know if, like, the momentum could have pulled them both to the ground.
Yeah,
Let's take a look at the video, Sear, and hopefully this video shows it all.
Yeah, Jack. Go at him all day. Hey, can't no one stay in front of you. Take that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yep, there he is.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Oh my goodness. Hey.
The camera person certainly doesn't have a steady hand.
Oh.
So there was the kick. I hate when women try to get involved. You're just going to get hurt.
Yeah, they don't know how to play, man. These motherfuckers should have been out the game. Should have been out the game.
What the fuck is wrong with people?
Yeah, Black! Yeah, Black!
Oh,
come on, man. These motherfuckers is bogus as fuck, dog. The coach! These motherfuckers is bogus as fuck.
Well, I hope people got arrested.
Y'all motherfuckers weak as fuck for that shit.
Yep, that dude just threw a haymaker at him from behind, man. When he was walking, the referee was walking back to the locker room. That big fat white guy threw a haymaker from behind. That's weak sauce, man. That's real weak sauce, dude. Dude, society's going to hell in a handbasket.
It is. But I do like Monday Meltdown. I'm not going to say I don't. But it just goes to show. I mean, this fucking world is so messed up. I don't know. That's why, we did what you did. We got rid of cable. We just channel everything, man. Just everything gone. I don't even watch the news. We do it for the show, but that's it. It's so depressing. It's just, there's nothing ever good. There's no happy puppy story or a kitty cat story. It's all, 6 people shot dead, and then they just go on and on and on, And in sports, they don't care. Scott, you and I never saw this shit. We'd see an argument. I could see Jimmy G, or Jimmy G, Mr. G.
Jimmy G. Jim G was his name. That's you had it.
Jim G. Yeah. He'd get a little. He
wasn't exactly a Jimmy. He was definitely a Jim, but yeah.
Yeah, but he would get loud, and my coaches here and there, but never the disrespect like that. Now, what I saw
Jack Ewald would.
Yeah, Jack Ewald. Yeah, he was a little loose.
That guy was a hat thrower and a dirt kicker. One of those. Thought he was like the next Earl Weaver or something.
He was. Yeah, he did. But looking at that video, the ref did step up on the guy. Not saying that, but you know what? If the ref should have just technical, walked away, got the support from his, team of refs or whatever. But he did get up in his face. And I know sometimes tempers get the best of you, but now look what happened. Now you got, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. It's just a disaster.
Well, yeah,
bad.
I mean, you're right. You're right. But to err is to be human.
Yep.
We're all human. And at some point, if that's been going on all game long, and you just know it's inevitable that this guy just is going to end up trying to fight me at some point, I mean, at some point, you got to stand your ground. You got to make it known that I'm the referee. I'm the one in control, in charge here. And he should have tossed him, is what he should have done. If it had been happening the entire game by that point, he should have tossed the guy, is what should have happened.
Right.
And then maybe that would have, quelled the steam emanating from everyone. I don't know.
And decide with the refs, they're not getting paid shit for this. I guarantee a lot of it's volunteer, and if they do get paid, it's very little. Is it worth it? I mean, it sure as hell wouldn't be worth it to me. We talked last week about coaching Little League. As a coach, it's insane. I'm not getting paid for this. I'm taking time out of my day for your kid. I don't know, man.
Did you ever referee or umpire?
Scotty, I did. During high school, I was behind the high school. I was umpiring girls softball, the underhand. Yep. And I don't know how. I think LaPointe or somebody said, hey, if you guys want a little side job after, make a few bucks.
Bet it was Dave Racer.
You know what? I think you're right on that. I think it was Race that sent us over there because I know Kevin Learned went over. I went over. And I had my moments. I had to learn what a strike was. And I basically prayed every time they threw the ball, just hit the thing. I can call them out at a base. I don't want to call a third strike on some little girl or something. It was just right. But that's the only time I did it. I was behind the home plate, which I really did not want to be. But
now, sometimes I did basketball.
Oh, jeez.
I did basketball. I think I was in junior high when I was doing basketball, and I was doing it for the young kids, the 5, 6, the 7, the 8-year-olds, calling basketball for them. And dude, I'll tell you what, man, you blow that whistle, all eyes are on you, man. It's just and
it's never the right call. You'll blow the whistle, and it's like, no, that's a bad call. One team is going to say, oh, that's a horrible call. A basketball ref, an NBA game. You watch it, I almost cringe. It's like, oh, God, that's brutal. I mean, it's bam, bam, plays. And then NFL, same way. When I had season tickets, we had second row, 5-yard line, and we saw goal line stances where there were some, there's some bad calls. The fans were so ruthless, they would wish death upon the poor ref. And he looked about 70 years old, and they're like, you will die. I will find out where you live. You're going to die. I mean, Jesus Christ, it's a sport. Oh, my God. I don't know how you did basketball. I think that out of all the sports, it's got to be the worst one. Because you could call a foul on everything. Same with football, though, too.
Oh, yeah, no, you'd have to, let so much shit go. Especially when they're 5, 6, 7, and 8.
Oh yeah, I
mean, you got to let the travels and dragging the foot. Sometimes
what would you call out of bounds? So you'd call probably just out of bounds.
You call out of bounds, egregious fouls. Where they just clobber the kid, or
right.
3 seconds. I think then it was 5 seconds though at that league. Yeah, you got some kid. I mean, you're on 10. Or 12, you're like, all right, I gotta blow the whistle now. The kid's not fucking moving.
Enough time, dude.
Dude, you gotta get out of the paint there, man. You're like one. You hit that 5, and you're still in there. You're standing right by him, and you're waving your arm with the count. And you're standing there.
You're yelling.
Now, part of it though is they've got stage fright when they get out there.
Oh, I bet.
They just freeze up. Because they don't have that bone in their body where they can put that aside and just go out and focus and play ball. I mean, that's hard to do as a kid in general. I mean, some kids just get absolutely terrified. But all right, man. So enough with the refereeing. I got out of that shit. That was no bueno. I remember somebody wanted me to call softball after high school. I was like, you must be out of your freaking mind. Like, I played on some of those softball teams.
Yeah.
At what's the place down there in Canton? Ed Hanna used to work there.
Softball City on Canton Center Road.
Yeah. My dad
Michigan
got Ed
Avenue.
Hanna a job working the batting cages each
Right.
summer. And I played some softball there and got asked to referee. I'm like, are you crazy? I played in these games. I've seen these guys. These guys are nuts. There's absolutely no way you're wrangling me into that one. No way.
And that would be for what, like adults?
Yeah.
Oh, no. There's no way.
Softball for adults.
No,
And I was like 18, 19 years old.
No way.
You know,
I have
what?
seen some of them. And if it's a close play and you call the wrong one, they'll threaten to kill you, dude. Like that, because there's some beer, there's some alcohol talking in a lot of that too.
Well, you get these guys that are like, sponsored by like Patty's Pub, and they got everything's matching uniforms and bags.
Yeah.
And I mean, they think like they're fucking, like we were in high school or all over again or something. You know what I mean? And they take this shit serious, dude, because they're like trying to get to the, softball World Series of America, in Connecticut type thing. And it's just like,
okay, I've got
really,
one.
like,
I've got a great
rec
one.
league softball, man.
Well, I got a great one for you. When I would say between 10 and 13 years old, my dad, we went to a church, Geneva Church. Geneva was on Sheldon, I think. Sheldon and like Warren area. Anyway, so the Geneva Church put together a softball team, and my dad was on it they were older guys. They weren't anybody, no young kids. Well, they had to face the Rusty Nail Lounge all the time. For whatever reason, they were booked. And you remember the Rusty Nail Lounge.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody coming out of there, you would not screw with, period. And they had to face them in softball. And I was going through one of my dad's old scorebooks. It's like 26-2, 31-4. I mean, it was brutal. So we saw our fair share of absolute, like, these guys would come in there like 300 pounds and just beast on the ball. And my poor dad, he was in decent shape, but all these other churchgoers were just like, just waiting for that ball to come in there.
Right.
Crazy.
Right. All right, man, Major League Baseball leading into tonight's home run derby. So, did you want to, this is your wheelhouse, did you want to talk about Chris Sale?
You know what, let me do the Sale. Let me get
Cubs.
Yeah, the draft. The draft is what it is. Let me give you a couple draft things, Scotty. If there's a team that I got them all listed here, I've got the backgrounds, but I'm just going to give you a few of the ones that were highlighted here. Number one, this kid Jackson Holiday, shortstop from Stillwater High. They graded an A. They say there isn't much Holiday can't do on the field. He has one of the best hit tools in the draft that goes with plus power and plus speed. He's well-rounded all the way around. I watched his highlights, and it's like, Scotty, I don't even know really what I'm looking at. I mean, I'm looking at a good high school player kid, But a lot of these kids that went in the first round are coming out of high school. There's very few college kids. But for the shocker, do you remember Kumar Rocker from last year at all?
Yeah, he went 10 to the New York Mets last year.
Exactly. Well, they picked him. The Rangers picked him up at 3, and that shocked everybody because this dude's like, he's injured a lot, and they just thought this was a second round. They thought he actually slipped. He should have slipped, but no, they took him high at number 3. But
he's 4 years older than the first two players, Andrew Jones's son and Matt Holliday's son. He's 4 years older than those guys.
Yeah. Well,
and he doesn't go to. It says no school listed.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just kind of chilling, and they take him third. Well, the Rangers got to know something, I guess. I don't know, but I know all the analysts were like, "What the f." Anyway, the Tigers take Jace Jung, second baseman out of Texas Tech. They give it an A. They thought he should be a top 10 pick, but he kind of slipped into the Tigers' wheelhouse, so they jumped on that. Now the one that graded bad, and Scott, I don't know if you've heard anything down in the Bay, but they gave it an F for the Tampa Bay Rays. Xavier Isaac, first baseman out of East Forsyth High School out of North Carolina. They say, it feels dangerous to give the Rays an F, but this pick is a head-scratcher. High school first basemen are rarely selected in the first round, and it's usually because they look like the complete package. Think Nick Prado, Tristan Casas. That's not Xavier Isaac. Sure, the bat is explosive. He has a ton of power in his 6'4", 240 frame, but he is really slow and is a poor defender at first. And he missed the showcases due to a foot injury. So there's not much of a track record against the national competition. I don't know if you heard anything on this kid at all.
No, they don't really get into the local sports talk, doesn't get into the baseball draft. I mean, a lot of these guys have my outlook, which is, okay, great. I mean, they took, it's like Torkelson,
right.
The experts, they had him as a top 5, rookie of the year candidate going into this year. And I was like, there's no way this kid's ready, man. He needs another year down below, at least 2 maybe.
Well,
they brought him up too soon. So it's really, to me, it depends on the organization you land with. I think Arizona for Drew Jones is a horrible landing spot for him. Yeah. I do. I think the Orioles is a good spot for Jackson Holiday, but I would like to have seen, Drew Jones end up more with ideally the Braves, his dad's club, or the Cubs, even the Nationals. They seem to be able to develop talent. Arizona just can't develop talent, man. And anytime they get a blue chipper, like a Max Scherzer or somebody like that, they find themselves, in such need of other players. They're like, oh, we got to trade this guy to bring in more guys because we suck so bad. So, I don't know. Hey, it's not like these guys. You can't compare it to like the NBA draft. I guess maybe now you can compare MLB to the baseball draft. I think MLB is a little bit more comparable to the NHL draft. Right. But the football draft stands alone on its own because we've watched these guys for at least 2 solid seasons, and we know what they can do. Right. These guys, you just don't know. I mean, this guy Jackson Holiday just might be able to crush high school pitching. But, how's he going to perform when he's up there, playing against Scherzer or DeGrom, who's, hitting triple digits?
Right. Well,
I don't know. Time will tell, I think when it comes to these kids, it all depends on the organization you get drafted by and whether or not they can develop talent.
Yeah, for sure. And, the Giants, they had the last pick of the first round. They graded it a D. And I get why they did it because he only throws 2 pitches, but this dude throws in the triple digits on a regular basis. And he's a lefty. He does play first base also, but even though he's only a 2-way upside, he only has a 2-way upside. You're a lefty, you're throwing triple digits. I mean, we know what our Chapman has done. I think he would be perfect for like somebody like that with a reliever. Throw him in the 9th inning. Like, you need this shutdown. Let's just do it right now. And yeah, they will pick up on the fastball. If they can get a third pitch for this kid, I don't know, that D goes up quite a bit. But.
Well, again, that goes back to development.
Yeah.
Listen, this kid played 4 years in college at Connecticut. Let's use your boy Torkelson. As bad as the Detroit offense has been this season, I've asked this question. This will be the 3rd time now. Why has the hitting coach not been fired yet? Why has anybody not been fired that, takes part in the development of these players?
I can tell you why. It's pretty simple because everybody's focus Every single, you turn on the radio, you hear one name and one name. You don't even hear the coach's name. It's the owner, Ilitch, Chris Ilitch. That's all you're hearing. Everybody has, like, I'll tell you what, the batting cage or the batting coach is kind of just ducking under the radar like, God, it should be me, you know? No, they're after Ilitch. They are ready to pound Ilitch. Now, Willie Horton came on the air, I think it was yesterday, and basically shouted out to the people, shut up about Ilitch. Just stop. You know, he defended him left and right. Now, he didn't get into why they should go after the batting coach or anything like that. They said, just give it some time. Or Willie Horton was saying, just give it time, but just leave Ilitch alone. He's doing a good job, according to Willie Horton, you know. But you're right. You're right.
Avila needs to go. No, he's not doing good enough job. He's been given 10 years or whatever it's been. Yeah. He's been given more than enough time. It's time for that dude to go, and for Chris Ilitch to go out and find himself, you know, another Dave Dombrowski type guy. It's time. I agree. Yep. It's time. I agree. You know. Now, you don't want Dombrowski in the sense where he's going to trade away all of your farm system like Dombrowski likes to do. That, you know, he's done that everywhere he's gone, man. Just goes and cleans out but he gets you to where you want to go. I'll give him that, you know. I'll give him that. You know, he gets you to be a winning franchise. And he's struggling right now in Philadelphia, you know, with the Girardi thing. You know, he's got Bryce Harper out, but they're still in the thick of it at least. At least they're in the conversation. That's all you want as a baseball fan, is to be in the conversation, because there's nothing longer than a summer without a team to root for. Yep. You know, when there's the only thing going on.
I know. It's just, well, you got to grab a team like Seattle or Baltimore and jump on their little bandwagon as they march up the standings. You know, you got me hooked on this Seattle thing, and then this Pittsburgh kid that's 10'5". You know, you got me watching this kid now all the time, man. It's something special. There's just a lot of little things, but yeah, I'd love my home team to be able to do something. But speaking of Major League Baseball, did you see Chris Sale's pinky finger?
I did.
Dude, it's not supposed to bend that way. What, this poor guy? I think he's going to be out the year. Karma. Yeah, true.
Dude acted like an asshole. He got bad karma this weekend over it. It's the first thing I thought.
I know. Well, yeah, especially when it smashed his finger. It's all. I mean, it's a pinky finger, but it's going in like 3 different directions. So disgusting. I don't know, but they say he made his debut in the 12, 5 innings versus the Rays after dealing with a stress fracture to his ribs. Now he may not be chucking the leather for a foreseeable future. Sale excited Sunday's Yankees-Boston matchup after taking out Aaron Hicks' line drive off his pitching hand. Now, have you seen the video on this? Dude, it's just, you just can feel it. You know, you've been in that position at first base, taking one off the ground or something, one of those short hops, and either taking it in the shin or something. But right off the bat, bang. Yeah, it's pretty nasty. It's not looking good, but he removed himself from the game. Left fifth finger fracture, they're calling it. The timeline is unclear, but he says he expects to return this year. I don't know, but oh, God. There's all sorts of still pictures of this finger. It's just so damn disgusting.
He could return this year. You still have, nearly half the season to go.
Right.
And if you're gonna need him, it's gonna be in the wild card playoffs anyway. Yeah. I don't know, man. Sometimes you get on such a roll, you're like, well, things haven't gone well when he's come back. Maybe we just hope he stays hurt the rest of the season. And,
right.
I'm serious. You have that better chemistry, man. You bring a guy like that with an attitude that we just saw a week and a half ago into the locker room. Mm-hmm. It's going to stir up the pot. It's going to take down all that positive energy you've been working on all season to build up. Now you got this guy that just shows up with a shitty attitude, tearing TVs off the wall, slamming bats and gloves and, busting shit up, and it rubs off on everyone else, and then they get into the bad mindset, and then next thing you know, you find yourself in the middle of an 8-game losing streak. I don't know.
No, and buying AirPods or whatever they're called for their players is that's just not going to cut it. What you did is what you did.
That was Max Scherzer. Max Scherzer.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right, Max Scherzer. But even something like that, it just doesn't fix what it does. It puts a little Band-Aid on it. But when you act a fool, you do something stupid. I don't know. You're a pro. You're paid millions of dollars. Just act like one.
Yeah.
Dude, you and I have talked about sometimes our bucket list of places to go, and Wrigley Field. I was blessed to see Dwight Gooden play. He did get beat up, but I got to see Dwight Gooden at Wrigley Field. That was just badass stuff. They're kind of pissing me off here. The federal government sued the Cubs last Thursday and accused them of failing to make Wrigley Field accessible to those with disabilities when the century-old ballpark was modernized in a $500 million project that added luxury seating, bathrooms, and restaurants. The lawsuit filed by the U.S. Attorney John Lausch Jr. says the team's 1060 project had a significant adverse impact on individuals with disabilities and their ability to access Wrigley Field. It asks for the compensatory damages and civil penalties and demands that the team fix the problems to comply with the Americans with Disabilities Act. According to the lawsuit, the renovations that began in 2014 were projected to cost more than $550 million, remove the best wheelchair seating in the stadium, failed to include it in the new premium clubs, and stuck it in the last row of the bleachers where it's blocked by drink rails or fans standing up to cheer. What the fuck, dude? Comerica Park did something really similar too. Now they have a couple areas where they can push the wheelchairs up, and they got it. I don't know. It's okay, but in the outfield, they're right behind the drink rail. Also, when I read that, I remember seeing that, going, who came up with this? And that's what they did at Wrigley Field. That's the only place they have to go, Scott. It's just wrong. Especially when you got $550 million, you can't find somewhere to put people with disabilities to watch a game. But you're going to.
So it sounds to me like when they did the renovation, they didn't think it through all the way in terms of reconfiguring the stadium, like how the players get to and from the dugout. Mm-hmm. And okay, so like if you go to Arizona at Chase Field and you look behind home plate,
mm-hmm.
directly down in that side that tunnel is this awesome restaurant and bar. I've had Italian dinner with Tommy Lasorda in there. I've seen all these different ball players and celebrities down in there. So basically, to the point of it, though, is that it also provides access for wheelchair individuals to be wheeled out mm-hmm. and given a really nice seat if they're willing to pay for it.
Right.
You got to pay for it.
Sure.
A really nice seat behind home plate or a different, along the third or first baseline.
Yeah.
Things like that. And then they have like these giant, I wouldn't say it's an entire section, but they have like a would-be boxed off section.
Right.
It's probably about 3, maybe 4 rows. And it's got a bunch of space in the very front for wheelchair people to go as well. Mm-hmm. Now, the wall comes up to here if you're sitting in a chair.
Right.
But at least you're up close and you can see.
Sure.
It gives you the opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
Now, I too have been to Wrigley Field, as we've talked about numerous times. I only sat in the right field bleachers, and I was there before the renovation. They were still just doing day games at that time.
Right.
And, yeah, so, really it comes down to, because you can't build ramps to go down right? You can't do that. You need to have another way of point of access. And it sounds like somebody just didn't think it through, or they didn't think it was important, or like, fucking handicappers and wheelchairs, we'll stick them up there.
Right.
Type thing, you know?
Up. Yeah.
But hey, if they have the money to pay for a nicer seat, they should be entitled to get that seat.
Mm-hmm. I know. I think at Ford Field they have areas like when you go into the stadium and you're looking for your section. Once you walk into the section, there's like a flat area with like a bar, like a railing, and it's actually a decent level to look at the game because you can really see the whole thing. And they pop the wheelchairs there, and then the row in front of them is obviously down more, and they got a really good look at it. I just don't see how stadiums can't just access their seating like that. I know that the stadium's a billion years old, but come on, you're putting $550 million. You can't come up with something for them. It just kind of sucks.
It is the second oldest stadium. Now, apparently, this was a 3-year investigation and review of Wrigley Field's ADA compliance. It took 3 years to determine. I mean, like, dude, you and I could walk in there in a matter of like 4 hours.
Right.
Review this. Yeah. Like, hey, you got no access for wheelchair people. We need to do something better about this. Sure. 3 years this investigation took. That sounds a little excessive to me, but according to this Yahoo Sports piece, the case centers on the Cubs' 1060 project, named after Wrigley's address at 1060 West Addison Street, from the 2014 renovation that you spoke of that was 550 million bones. Now, fans with disabilities, the feds say, the new configurations were less welcoming than before. To that end, the DOJ accuses the Cubs of removing the best wheelchair seating in the stadium. So it sounds like they had it, but they wanted to pack it in. They didn't want to leave a seat empty.
Oh, of course not.
So they, and you can get like 2 seats and 1 wheelchair seat. So sure. They did away with it, and they didn't fail to incorporate wheelchair seating into new premium clubs and group seating areas. So it sounds like this might have just been a cash grab on the Cubs' part, and now it's coming back to bite them in the ass.
Yeah, because they're speaking up now, and now they got to do something. They got to make it worthwhile.
Now, the DOJ's lawsuit isn't the first ADA challenge to Wrigley renovations. In 2017, Cubs fan David Serta, who suffers from Duchenne muscular dystrophy and uses a wheelchair, sued the team. He contends that the 1060 project eliminated the wheelchair seating area in the right field bleachers, with those seats replaced by a special ticketing area featuring a bar. He criticized the Cubs for adding a bar to the left field seating area when it could have added wheelchair seating instead. In addition, he maintains that in reconfigured lower box seating, the height difference between the row of wheelchair seats and the row in front of the wheelchair seats is not great enough for wheelchair patrons to see the field of play over patrons standing in front of them. That goes to your point about, fans cheering and whatnot. Now, to me, you can't do nothing about that, man. You got to draw the line on that. Like, listen, dude, I'm sorry you're wheelchair bound. But if you're going to sit in a certain section, just like you or I could have someone stand in front of us and it's okay. Mm-hmm. I mean, it happens all the time. How many times, sure. How many football games or games you've been to where you have to literally stand the whole time because you can't see because everyone else is standing?
Yeah.
All the time.
I know.
All the time.
No.
So we'll follow this one and see how this one plays out. But before we get into your Major League Baseball All-Star Game predictions, let's talk about tonight's Home Run Derby.
Well, I've got a huge write-up in front of me that I did, and it would take forever. But I'm just going to break this down to you. I got the brackets. I got what I think. I can kind of break that down for you.
Brackets right here.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking at right now Kyle Schwarber. He is the number one seed going up against Albert Pujols. Now, come on. It's this isn't even going to be a competition, in my opinion. Pujols only has 6 home runs so far. This will just be, like a kind of a goodbye, Albert. Thanks for your time, and hey, because this should just be. I think Kyle will probably save some of his dingers for a little bit later, but in the same bracket, we'll call it the left side bracket. We got Juan Soto, who we just got done talking about, against Jose Ramirez from the Guardians. And last year, Soto went head to head with Ohtani, and last year I had dropped a little coin on Mr. Ohtani, and I paid the price because Ohtani didn't do shit. Got to the 3-pitch swing off. I think he was trying too hard. Ohtani was like, I think there was so much pressure on him to win this thing because he was the favorite to win, even over Pete Alonso, and it just obviously didn't happen. But I got Soto and Schwarber, Scotty, in the final in this side of the bracket. I don't know if you got anything different, but Soto is he's the phenom, and I think him and Schwarber is going to be a really incredible head-to-head after they take care of their first ones. Then I got Soto over Schwarber, which will be, I guess you call them a little minor upset, going to the final. Now, on the right side of the bracket, we got Pete Alonso, who is the 2-time reigning stud. He's going for 3. He's going against Ronald Acuna. Now, I think, in my opinion, this will be one of the funnest first round, even including the second round. I think this is going to be something to watch, Scott. These two are going to go head up. I think I got Alonso winning it, but I'll tell you, Acuna is going to make some noise. It's going to be tight, but I got Petey coming out on top there, and then I got Pete moving on to I got him moving on to the finals after he takes care of you got Corey Seager and Julio Rodriguez going at each other. I think Mr. Seager from Rangers, he's third overall. He's favored third, and I have Alonso knocking Seager out to go to the finals with Mr. Soto. I think, Scotty, this is going to be one of those home run derbies we talk about for a while. I think there's more to it for Pete Alonso. I think he really wants his 3-peat. I do. He's been practicing along with Soto. Soto's been taking, when he turned down that contract, do you know he actually said, I don't even want to talk about the contract. I got to go out and hit. I want this home run derby. He really wants this thing. I mean, you wouldn't see me turning down talking about, a 15-year contract over a home run derby, but he really wants it. So I think it's going to be a really fun home run derby night. I'm going to actually watch it. And I usually kind of use it as background, but I do like the way it turns out. And I have Pete winning the whole thing for the third. I have a 3-peat, Scott. I have a 3-peat.
Well, let me know how it turns out, because I'm going to watch paint dry.
Really?
Does nothing for him. This does absolutely. The home run contest, home run derby hasn't done anything for me, and I don't remember the last one I cared to watch, to be honest with you.
The back had me, I just tuned out. I couldn't do it anymore, and now that we don't have that, it's brought a little bit back for me, I guess. I don't know. I'm kind of torn. But because of what we do now, I think I'm going to tune in. I want to see Alonso get the third. I really like the guy. He's a great interviewer. He just seems genuine. I'd like to see him do well. I'd like to see Pujols do well, but he only has 6 home runs this year.
That doesn't mean anything. I mean, you can have a batting coach. His batting coach is going to be up there pitching. Somebody's going to be grooving him. Lobbing them in there. So I also am the guy who doesn't want my player taking part in the home run derby. because I believe that it screws up your swing. I think
the timing, everything, yes.
All
I
of
think
it.
it
So
happens.
I don't want any of my if my team is in contention, I don't want my Pete Alonso or my Acuna out there.
Do you remember, I don't know how many years ago it was, where they had Brandon Inge in the home run derby? And I think he had
Point
one.
taken. I mean, seriously,
and
like,
it just
I mean, in this draft, you got
anything.
Corey Seager. Corey Seager's not a power hitter. Okay,
Right.
He's a great shortstop. He's not a power hitter. And let's be honest, a lot of these guys are in this position because a lot of the other guys said, "No, I ain't doing it."
Right.
Case in point, Aaron Judge. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Now, 15, 20 years ago, Judge probably would have taken part in it.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Probably would have, and probably would have easily won it. That guy swings it like it's a toothpick.
That's another thing. I think, like, I was at the 98 All-Star game and home run derby in Colorado at Coors Field, when Ken Griffey Jr. beat Barry Bonds, Mark McGwire, and Sammy Sosa.
Yeah.
Once you've witnessed that in person, that's kind of like the bar's been set,
Right.
It's like, all right, well, Juan Soto, big name, hasn't done much. Jose Ramirez, big name, not doing much. Pujols, big name, best days are behind him. Kyle Schwarber, really? Corey Seager, great shortstop, not a power hitter. That's just me, though. That's just me. So, all right, man, you want to talk about your picks for the All-Star game?
Scotty, I'm going, I don't understand this, but the National League's favored, and I do not get it. But in tomorrow night, the All-Star game will be played. And I went through the lineups, and I'm just not seeing it. I think the over is a huge, and this is incredible that it's plus money and it's only 8 runs. I see a 3-2 game? Yeah, but I just don't. I think this is going to be probably a 9-7 game. I pretty much put the key matchup for me in this game involves American League's offense against the National League's pitching. And I think if you play baseball, pitching, in my opinion, takes out really good hitting. But I believe that's where the strength of both sides lie in this game. It's a typical Major League Baseball game. Lean towards the squad with the more dominant pitching. However, in an all-star game, when many pitchers will be pulled, and that's the key here, and they're replaced so that more can get a chance to participate, that is less likely to be the case. I can't comfortably bet against this loaded American League lineup. I think the drought continues for the National League at least for one more year. So let's just jump all over the AL winning by 2 runs, and then definitely take the over 8. You're getting plus money. I think there's going to be some runs scored here. Definitely like it.
What was the remember back in the day, like the National League won like every All-Star game for like what seemed like 20 years or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like they had like an incredible streak going on, or like the American League only beat them 2 out of 20 or something like that. And then the tide kind of changed in the 90s a little bit once those Yankees teams got great and the Mariners and all these other teams started to come into the fold. That's when the tide kind of evened out a little bit when it comes to the All-Star game. I don't know. That's another thing I won't be watching. I won't be watching the All-Star game at all. Just, I don't watch any All-Star game, though. I don't watch the NHL All-Stars. I don't watch the NBA. Don't watch the Pro Bowl. None of this stuff does anything for me.
No, it doesn't. But to answer your question, Scotty, I would say July, 1960 till, let's see, about 1982, so 22 years, the American League only won twice.
Okay, so I said it, 2-20. I hit it.
Yeah, right on the nose. Yep, and then after that, it's been all American League. Well, since 2012, they won 3 years in a row, the National League. But then before that, the American just went back to pounding ass from 97 to 2009. So you go through these little spurts. I mean, will the National League step up? I just don't see it. I don't know. But yeah, that was definitely really interesting.
Seems like the National League has always had better star pitchers than the American League teams. Like the American League teams have always had the bats, so to speak,
Right.
the home run hitters, which would be great for tonight. But when it comes to the All-Star game itself, it always seems like, the National League was just rolling out heavy hitter, no pun intended, pitcher after pitcher after pitcher. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And now it seems like the AL has a little bit more of the pitching, but I don't know. People bounce around a lot these days, and we shall see how this all plays out. Not going to be many free picks, I have a feeling, over the next couple of days, unless you're working on some ping pong or something.
Well,
that.
you know what? We'll come up with something. We'll get some free picks for something. I'll get creative. We'll come up with something for you guys.
And
right now,
on that note, what's that?
Yeah. No. I'm going right where you're going.
Yeah, I was going to say, on that note, that's going to do it for today, guys. Enjoyed this upcoming All-Star 3-day break that we're in the middle of, because once baseball ends, it'll start picking up steam. Playoff talk will start. Training camps are going to be opening here in another week or so, and we're going to be out the gate running. So everybody, thanks for watching wherever and however you may be watching. Catch up with CK and me, Scott Maxwell, here on Bleacher Bumz Sports tomorrow, Tuesday at 4:30 in the p.m. We'll see you then, guys. Everybody have a great night.